Welcome to Chris's Storytelling Corner. This is Christopher Moldong. So, when we think about our heroes and protagonists, we think of like the go getters, those that really wanted to save the world, that wanted big adventure for the most part, you know. But I'm going to do a list of the top five most reluctant protagonists. Those that didn't sign up to save the world, that didn't really intend to fight evil or go on some grand adventure. Next week, I'll have a movie review for Wonder Woman and a short story reading of The Next Level. You can check out my author's website at www.chrismondon.com. You can buy my first novel, a fantasy adventure called The Mustard Prince in the Condiment Kingdom, for $4.99. The main character of that, the Mustard Prince, is actually something of a reluctant protagonist. His father, King Mustard III, forces him to pretty much become a hero and save the Condiment Kingdom, more or less. He's a little more willing to do it, though. Also, for $2.99, you can buy my short story collection, a collection of 10 short stories in the horror, fantasy, and realistic fiction genres. Check out my Twitter page and the author's Facebook page. Links to all these will be provided on the description. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and comment to this channel if you're on YouTube, or follow, share, and comment on this channel if you're listening to this on SoundCloud. If you're listening to this on iTunes or Stitcher, please rate, review, and share this channel. So, let's just get right to it then. Let's go with the five most reluctant protagonists. So, starting us off with number 5, Spartacus, from the 1960 movie Spartacus. Not much is known actually about Spartacus. His background is quite a mystery. What we do know is that he's a slave, well, more of a Thracian gladiator, and he did not sign up to be the leader of a bunch of slaves. I think it's over 100,000 plus slaves, and cause an uprising against Rome. He and the other slaves lose in the battle, but instead of, I guess, admitting that he's Spartacus, all of the slaves come up. The remaining slaves rise up and say that I am Spartacus. So, number 4. With this movie, actually this movie franchise, I felt that there were a lot of protagonists that could have fit this list. I narrowed it down to one. I went with Rey from Star Wars The Force Awakens. Now, Han Solo could have been on this list. You know, he did not sign up to save the galaxy, really. Luke Skywalker, same, you know. He could have also been on this list. The characters from Rogue One could have also been on this list. Ultimately, though, for one, I think Rey is just kind of current. Finn actually could have been on this. Well, Finn was a little willing to save Poe, so I think Rey's just a little more current. But I think she fits with what I'm going for here, anyways. So, Rey, scavenger in the desert planet Jakku. Um, she was just, doing her thing in Jakku, hoping that her family would eventually return to her. She is good with, like, I want to, say machinery in a sense, but more like she, like with the Millennium Falcon, she's good with the, she can navigate it and whatnot. Um, but she kind of gets into the position that she gets into kind of by chance, She kind of just runs into BB-8 and more or less just tells him to leave at first until he just keeps following her. Kind and then Finn just kind of runs into them as well, and then it's all just, I mean, I guess fated to happen, but at the same time, it's not something she signed up for. Turns out she's pretty much a prodigy of the Force. Judging from the title of the next Star Wars movie, she is the last Jedi. And with that, she fights against Kylo Ren at the end of The Force Awakens. Most likely, we'll fight him again. And we'll probably fight against, pretty much be the flag bearer against the First Order. Starting off with as just a scavenger, and she ends up becoming a Jedi and pretty much one of the main heroes against the First Order. So, number 3 on the list, Emmet from the Lego movie. I went with animation this time around. I like Emmet. The guy is funny. But you know what else he is? He's boring, uncreative, and more or less invisible. Starts off working in construction. Just does things by the book, follows instructions very well. Like I said, his coworkers don't even realize that he's even there. He more or less just kind of runs into wild style, is mistaken for the special, and honestly doesn't have much in the way. He's pretty much average Joe until the end of the movie, where he becomes a master builder, inspires others to build what they can, and fights against Lord Business. One of the most creative things that he's invented, though, was the double-decker couch. Like I said, just a guy, average to the point of being invisible, and once again, didn't sign up to go up against Lord Business and save the world, more or less. Or actually, it's like multiple worlds now that I think about it. But that's what ends up happening with Emmet. So, number 2 on my list, Peter Banning, or as we know him, Peter Pan from Hook. When he starts out, Peter Banning is a lawyer. He is with 2 children, with a family, and he's kind of a sellout, in a sense. He was the boy that never grew up, that ended up growing up. Peter Pan was pretty much always supposed to be a boy. So in that sense, he kind of sold out. He's so married to his work that he really doesn't have that much time for his kids. Even throughout the movie, Captain Hook is even more of a father to his son than Peter Banning was to his own son. His son and daughter do get kidnapped by Captain Hook, and he has to slowly and surely become Peter Pan once again. Learning how to fly, crow, fight. Lost Boys aren't very nice to him. Rufio is not very nice to him. But as he's longer he's in Neverland and whatnot, he slowly but surely, becomes that kid again. He went from this, snooty lawyer back to the kid that never grew up. And number 1 on my list, Bilbo Baggins from The Hobbit. I'll just go with, all of the Hobbit movies. I thought he's most prevalent, though, in The Hobbit and Unexpected Journey. Bilbo. What can he say about him? He is a hobbit of the Shire and living in Bag End. He was just kind of doing his thing as a bachelor. He's very well respected. And then Thorin and company, along with Gandalf, just kind of go to his home and hire him to become a burglar. He had no intention of adventure. He seemingly liked his life, uh, and honestly has no real experience of being a burglar. Um, what ends up happening though is that he acquires Sting, the sword Sting. He meets different people throughout his journey, um, including Elrond. Who else does he meet? He meets Elrond, right? Yes, he does meet Elrond. Fights against Smog, among other people, and of course, he is one of the bearers of the One Ring. Ultimately, he is not the final bearer of it. He takes it from Gollum, but he then ultimately will give that One Ring, which will set up a whole new adventure to his adopted nephew, Frodo Baggins. Bilbo, the definitely one of the original, yeah, pretty much one of the original reluctant protagonists. Someone that just didn't really have a lot of skill, that kind of just gained skill, courage, and whatnot throughout his journey, and kind of grows to be an adventurer, a map maker, an author, and whatnot by the end of his journey. So, that's all for today. If you like this, don't forget to subscribe, share, and comment to this channel if you're on YouTube, or follow, share, and comment on this channel if you're listening to this on SoundCloud. If you're listening to this on iTunes or Stitcher, please rate, review, and share this channel. Thank you for listening to this list. Next week, I will have a movie review for Wonder Woman and a reading of The Next Level. In 2 weeks, actually, I'll start a new manga review for Your Lie in April. Thank you, and until next time.